One of the most important aspects of tipping like a pro is knowing the tipping culture and etiquette of different countries and regions. Tipping can vary widely depending on the service, the situation, and the location. What may be considered generous in one place may be seen as rude or offensive in another. So how do you research the tipping norms before you travel or visit a new place? There are several ways to find out the appropriate tipping practices for your destination. Here are some tips to help you. Use online resources. There are many websites and blogs that offer advice on tipping etiquette around the world. For example, you can check out tipgenerously.com, realsimple.com, wsj.com, cnn.com, abc7chicago.com, or rd.com for some general guidelines and tips on tipping in various situations and locations. However, keep in mind that these sources may not be updated or accurate, so always double-check with other sources or locals if you are unsure. Read travel guides and books. Another way to research tipping culture and etiquette is to read travel guides and books that cover your destination. These may provide more detailed and specific information on tipping customs and expectations for different services and scenarios. You can also look for books that focus on cultural etiquette and manners, such as those by Mary Ann Parker, an international etiquette expert and founder of Manner of Manners International. Ask locals or experts. The best way to learn about tipping culture and etiquette is to ask people who live or work in the place you are visiting. You can ask your friends, family, colleagues, or contacts who have been to or live in your destination for their advice on tipping. You can also ask hotel staff, tour guides, taxi drivers, restaurant servers, or other service providers for their recommendations on how much to tip and when to tip. They will appreciate your interest and respect for their culture and customs. Observe and follow. Another way to research tipping culture and etiquette is to observe and follow what others do. You can watch how locals or other travelers tip in different situations and settings. You can also look for signs or clues that indicate the tipping expectations, such as tip jars, gratuity included notices, service charges, or suggested tip amounts on receipts or screens. When in doubt, you can always err on the side of generosity and tip more than less. By researching the tipping culture and etiquette of different countries and regions, you can avoid awkward or embarrassing situations and show your appreciation for good service. You can also enhance your travel experience and build rapport with the people you encounter along the way. One of the challenges of tipping is knowing how much to give and how to fit it into your budget. In this section, we will share some budgeting tips for beginners that can help you plan ahead and avoid tipping stress. First, you need to know your monthly income and expenses. You can use a budgeting app, a spreadsheet, or a pen and paper to track your money. The goal is to spend less than you earn and save some for emergencies and the future. Second, you need to choose a budgeting method that works for you. There are different ways to budget, but one of the simplest is the 50/30/20 rule. This means you allocate 50% of your income for needs, 30% for wants, and 20% for savings and debt repayment. Third, you need to include tips in your budget as part of your wants category. This means you have 30% of your income to spend on things that make you happy, such as eating out, traveling, entertainment, and yes, tipping. You can decide how much of this category you want to dedicate to tips based on your preferences and habits. Fourth, you need to plan ahead for large purchases and monthly activities that involve tipping. For example, if you know you are going to a fancy restaurant or a spa for a special occasion, you can set aside some money for tips in advance. You can also use online tools or apps to calculate how much tip you should give based on the service quality and location. Fifth, you need to be realistic and flexible with your budget. Sometimes, things happen that are out of your control, such as unexpected expenses or emergencies. You may also encounter situations where tipping is expected or required, such as at a hotel or a salon. In these cases, you may have to adjust your budget and cut back on other wants or savings. Sixth, you need to track your progress and review your budget regularly. You can use receipts, bank statements, or apps to monitor how much you spend on tips and other categories. You can also compare your actual spending with your planned spending and see if you need to make any changes. Seventh, you need to change your perspective and see tipping as a way of showing appreciation and gratitude. Tipping is not only a social norm but also a way of supporting people who work hard to provide you with good service. By budgeting for tips and avoiding overpaying or underpaying, you can tip like a pro and enjoy your experiences more.